This is really happening, and this historical model can predict exactly when it will all take place. Yes, we are talking about a third global conflict. William Strauss and Neil Howe described all of this in their book, The Fourth Turning, which once blew up the internet, and now it's going to blow your mind. They discovered that history is literally divided into 80-year blocks. These blocks are further divided into 4 turnings, each lasting 20 years. The first turning, the high era of optimism. This phase usually follows a major victory after a difficult, intense event. The last high happened between 1946 and 1964, right after World War II, when wealth was at its most evenly distributed. During this time, we saw huge cultural achievements, such as strong leadership, space exploration, new household technologies, and the rise of the auto industry. Life was good, and people trusted the government. The second turning, the awakening, era of passion and open-mindedness. After the high, people start feeling good and begin thinking creatively. The last awakening occurred between 1964 and 1984, when it became fashionable to challenge norms and be different. This era gave rise to the Beatles, the hippie movement, massive rock festivals like Woodstock, Star Wars, and women's rights movements. Society seemed to be progressing at an extremely fast pace. The third turning, the unraveling, era of decline and division. This is when things start spiraling out of control. After the awakening, people want to see the changes they fought for, while others strongly oppose those changes. This creates contradictions and deep divisions within society. The last unraveling lasted from 1984 to 2008. During this time, we saw the collapse of the Soviet Union, a rise in underground music talking about crime and lawlessness, global unrest, including 9/11, the Afghanistan and Iraq wars, and ultimately, the 2008 financial crisis. The fourth turning, the crisis era of chaos and transformation. The crisis phase always ends with the most extreme event of the 80-year cycle. And guess what? We are in it right now. We are witnessing the strongest political divide in modern history, rising government control and censorship, new senseless wars, liberal rights movements, and an overwhelming feeling that at any moment you could turn on the news and hear about another historic catastrophe. When will the crisis culminate? The last major crisis ended in 1945. 1925 plus 80 equals 2025. If the cycle holds, we will experience the most extreme events that will bring this crisis to its conclusion. Now, here's a question for you. What are your plans for this period? Because you might want to cancel them.